What happens when artistic ambition collides with the harsh realities of a world driven by spectacle? Coen brothers' movie Barton Fink is more than just a surreal portrait of a writer's crisis. It's a profound meditation on cultural decline, the fragility of artistic integrity, and the eternal conflict between order and chaos. Through biblical parallels, Nietzschean philosophy, and the critique of Hollywood's relentless commodification of creativity, the Coen brothers invite us into Barton Fink's mind, a mind engulfed by ambition, failure, and fire. Today we'll dive into Barton Fink's story, exploring its connection to the Book of Daniel, its commentary on the degeneration of culture, and the enigmatic forces of Dionysus that shape its haunting finale. Our journey begins in the Book of Daniel, a part of the Hebrew Bible that weaves the stories of faith, exile, and divine revelation. Central to this narrative is the story of King Nebuchadnezzar, the ruler of Babylon, and a man tormented by dreams. One night he dreams of a colossal statue made of 4 distinct materials: a head of gold, chest of silver, thighs of bronze, and legs of iron, with feet of iron mixed with clay. Disturbed by the dream, Nebuchadnezzar demands his magicians and wise men not only to interpret the dream, but reveal what he dreamed of, a seemingly impossible task. When the magicians admit they cannot fulfill his demand, Nebuchadnezzar orders their execution, accusing them of deceit and failure. Then enter Daniel, a young Jewish exile who, through prayer and divine revelation, discerns the meaning of the dream. Daniel explains that the statue represents a sequence of kingdoms. The head of gold symbolizes Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon, the greatest of empires. The silver, bronze, and iron represent successive ages, each less glorious than the last. Finally, the feet of clay and iron signify a fragile and divided future. In this prophetic vision, a stone strikes the statue, shattering it into dust, a sign that all empires, no matter how mighty, are doomed to collapse into nothingness. The prophecy of decline sets the stage for Barton Fink, where Nebuchadnezzar's arrogance and fragile empire find their modern parallel in Hollywood and its producers. In Barton Fink, Nebuchadnezzar's arrogance is mirrored by Jack Lipnick, the flamboyant producer of Capitol Pictures. Lipnick rules over Hollywood like a king, promising Barton Fink that the writer is king and praising his supposed gift for capturing the poetry of the streets. But beneath the grand promises lies a brutal reality. Lipnick views writers as disposable. When Barton fails to deliver a wrestling picture script, Lipnick reveals his true colors. "I've got 100 others just like you," he says. Barton, once hailed as a creative genius, is reduced to a cog in a machine producing meaningless, forgettable entertainment. Just like Nebuchadnezzar's dream foretells a cycle of degeneration, Lipnick's Hollywood epitomizes the cultural decline. The golden age of Hollywood, the setting of Barton Fink's story, has given way to a world dominated by automated scripts, disposable artists, and spectacle over substance. Lipnick's empire, like Nebuchadnezzar's statue, is built on a foundation of clay. Amidst this world of decay, Barton Fink dreams of being a savior of culture. He sees himself as the voice of the common man, a playwright destined to uplift the masses with profound art, akin to Shakespeare. But there is one crucial problem. Barton knows nothing about the common man. Throughout the film, Barton dismisses the stories of common people, particularly of Charlie Meadows, his neighbor at the Hotel Earl. Charlie, who represents the working class that Barton claims to champion, repeatedly offers to share his life experiences, but Barton refuses to listen. Barton's arrogance blinds him to the truth. The common man doesn't want Shakespearean grandeur. They want action, destruction, and stimulation. A common man will not care about the nuances of narration that Fink is trying to offer. Not spiritual awakening, but a wrestling match speaks to their desires. Barton's failure to understand this dooms both his screenplay and his artistic ambition. As we journey deeper into Barton's struggle, the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego from the Book of Daniel offers an important parallel. These three men, exiled in Babylon, refused to worship King Nebuchadnezzar's golden idol, even at the risk of their lives. In response, the king orders them to be thrown into a fiery furnace, but when he looks into the flames, he sees not just three men, but four. One appears to be a divine figure sent to protect them from fire. The men walk out of the furnace unharmed, and Nebuchadnezzar, astonished, acknowledges the supremacy of their god. The fiery furnace in this context symbolizes the testing of faith and the miraculous intervention of a higher power. But in Barton Fink, the furnace is not the divine salvation. It's the suffocating heat of Hollywood and Barton's own mental and emotional turmoil. He is trapped in a room that feels like furnace, with peeling wallpaper and stifling atmosphere, overwhelmed by his intellectual pretensions and inability to comprehend the world around him. But just like these three men in a furnace filled with flames, Barton receives his own savior. There is a figure who comes to his aid in an unexpected and unsettling way: Charlie Meadows, Barton's seemingly ordinary neighbor. As the story progresses, Charlie's true nature is revealed, and it becomes clear that he represents a force much larger than Barton realizes. Charlie seems to bear a resemblance to the Greek god Dionysus, whose essence is not merely chaos for the sake of chaos, but embracing of the disorder and raw power of life itself. Friedrich Nietzsche's The Birth of Tragedy tells us that Dionysus, the god of wine and revelry, represents the surrender to chaos, to the dissolution of rigid boundaries, and the destruction of old forms to make way for new creation. Dionysus thrives in the intermediate space between life and death, order and disorder, creation and destruction. In Barton Fink, Charlie's transformation seems to parallel this Dionysian spirit. One moment he is a mild-mannered working-class man, the next he is a murderous force, setting the Hotel Earl on fire and disrupting Barton's carefully constructed illusions. In a way, Charlie's erratic behavior, a shift from a common man to an almost godlike figure, forces Barton to confront the chaos he's been avoiding. The moment when Charlie steps out of the flames holding shotgun in his hands and declares, "I'll show you the life of the mind," is both a challenge to Barton's pretensions and a Dionysian revelation. The mind, unanchored from the real world, is a fragile, absurd thing. Charlie's declaration, "I'll show you the life of the mind," isn't just the critique of Barton's intellectual arrogance. It's a mockery of Barton's lofty ideals. Barton, who has come to Hollywood with the intention of crafting profound, high culture for the common man, is confronted with the fact that masses don't want thought-provoking Shakespearean plays. They simply want action, spectacle, and destruction from the boring realities of life. Charlie embodies the Dionysian acceptance of this reality. Where Barton sees a vision of lofty art, Charlie sees the chaos of human nature and the raw need for drug-like ecstasy and revelry. As Nietzsche suggests, only the Dionysian spirit can endure the eternal return of chaos and meaninglessness. By embracing the chaos of life without judgment, without restraint, Charlie survives, while Barton's rigid worldview collapses under the weight of his illusions. It is Charlie, not Barton, who truly understands the common man, with all their messiness, unpredictability, and violence. In this final confrontation, Barton is exposed as not the enlightened savior of the people, but rather a lost tourist from the forgotten age. in the world of meaninglessness and chaos. And like Dionysus, Charlie's role is both destructive and revelatory. He burns down the walls of Barton's mind, forcing him to face the disorder that he cannot control. At the film's conclusion, Barton sits on a bench with a mysterious box in his hands, left to him by Charlie. Its contents are never revealed. Audrey Taylor's head, a divine revelation, or maybe nothing at all. The box represents the unknowable, the chaos that Barton must grapple with in a world where meaning is elusive. Charlie invites Barton to return to the Hotel Earl, hinting at the possibility of embracing Dionysian chaos. But the ending remains uncertain. Has Barton learned to adapt, or will he remain trapped by his own illusions? The Coen suggest that in a collapsing culture, survival demands the courage to embrace chaos and to abandon the illusions of control. Barton Fink is the tale of ambition and failure, and the inevitable collapse of ideals in the face of meaninglessness of the modern reality. Like Nebuchadnezzar's statue, Hollywood's golden age crumbles under the weight of its own decadence. But the film also challenges us. Will we cling to the outdated notions of control and genius, or will we, like Dionysus, embrace the chaos and create meaning in the ashes, or simply refuse to fight for the meanings and live a simplistic life? Barton's journey is a mirror for all of us, a reminder that in the fiery furnace of life, transformation is only possible when we succumb to the flames. Perhaps from these flames, the phoenix of new creative beginning will arise. What do you think is inside Barton's box? Is Charlie a savior, a destroyer, or maybe both? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more explorations of films, philosophy, and literature. See you next time.